Today I'm gonna be turning celebrities and actors into superheroes using Photoshop. Psych! I mean Affinity Photo. Why? Cause it's just fun. So for the first photo, wait, you don't know who I am? My name is Peter Jessen and I am a broke student who's learning Photoshop. Someone from Asia. Don't ask me why I don't answer quite exactly, cause I don't want to. So let's get started. The first actor is gonna be Andrew Garfield, and I'm gonna be turning him into Danny Phantom, who is just my favorite childhood superhero of all time. Well, no surprise there, cause I already showed you since the start of the video, duh. So let's start, shall we? So, for my first project, I dropped this image from the web, which is totally legal. Then I grab my selection tool, make a really careful selection, then hit apply and mask it out. After that, I made the background black so I can see the imperfections in the mask, cause I really care those tiny little details. After all of that, I dropped Andrew Garfield's face and as usual mask it out. I resize the head to match with the body or else it's gonna be like, well, you know. And I draw another legal background, resize it and give it some glow. I then darken the character to match with the background and liquefy the neck to fill in those tiny little gaps. Now comes the fun stuffs, the highlights. I added a new fill layer, set the blending mode to add, and paint around the edges. I then add another fill layer to add some hazy look to the edges. Same goes for the other side, but this time it's gonna be green. For the hair, I use one of... What? I met A1? It met A1? Oh my gosh. How do I not know my favorite artist? Whatever, it met A1 brushes to give it more texture, then some blue haze. And do the same thing for the other side. I know what you guys are thinking right now. Danny Phantom has white hair. Yeah, I know. I'm a Danny Phantom fan, so shut up. So, why should I forget it? Just kidding. I added another HSL layer, desaturated it, lighten it up, and mask it out. And bang! White hair. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. I added some lens glare in the eyes, mask it out, and set its blending mode to add. I added some smoke and put in Lightroom, and here's the final result. And for the second one, I'm currently watching Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. Well, don't blame me. And I've also been a big fan of Avatar Kyoshi. I also heard Netflix is making a live action one, so I looked up the web for Avatar Kyoshi fan cast and I found Li Bingbing. I really like her and I thought it would be so perfect to turn her into, you know, Avatar Kyoshi. So let's get started again. So as usual, I select the main subject with the selection tool, which works pretty well for me. Then I refine the mask where there are some hairs, mask it out, delete some imperfections, and voila. Then I grab this cosplay image from that place. I cut out the upper part, I resize it and slap it on my main subject. For now, it looks garbage. And finally, the background. It's just so good and it's so perfect for this image. I give credit for this artwork, it's really fantastic. I blur the background to give you a nice depth of field. Then here comes the magic part. I grab the magic wand tool, cause it's magic part. Oh my god, I should start making these jokes. Okay, I grab the magic wand tool to mask out the hair on the costume. Easy, right? And Kyoshi's iconic makeup. Is it makeup? I don't know. I did an Asian cell layer, desaturate all yellow and some red. Although her face is plain and colorless in the cartoon, if I desaturate all of our face, in real life it will look like a zombie and seem like it doesn't have any blood or something. Oh. Then added a new pixel layer, painted some eyelashes. Is it how they call them? Eyelashes? Well, whatever. I set the blending mode to multiply and did the same to the lips. Now it's looking more like Kyoshi instead of like dog shit. I wanted to make the hair black so I desaturated it and make it more darker. Then I added this Kyoshi's hat, and is it hat? Oh well, and fix some perspectives. And you guessed it, I darkened the whole image to match with the background and give some highlights, just like the previous one. No surprise there. And final piece of touch, the Evo state. I added a lens flare, set its blending mode to add, which makes it 100 times cooler. Now that's a fine one. Now for the final one, I thought myself that right now WandaVision is streaming on Disney Plus, and I've also been a big fan of Jennie from Blackpink, so why not combine both? Just trust me, it will look good. And finally, the one and only Jennie. This time I'm gonna add the background first because I just like the background. I maxed out some part of the background that I don't need cause it's Gotham City, which is a DC universe. So I simply replace it with Avengers Tower. Now that looks perfect. Then I put her image and erase the background. No surprise there, as usual. Right now I want to match the color with the background cause it's hurting my eyes a lot. So I darken it and change the color with some curves. And now I obviously need to change the color of her dress because it's really pink and I need to change it to red. So I use recolor filter, which is colorized in Photoshop. So don't worry. And then I mask out the layer and then paint some back on it. And there you go, red dress. I also desaturated it a bit. I found some cape images on the web, so I cut them out and put it behind her. As usual, I darkened it and I desaturated a bit. Now that looks really natural. And now I'm gonna use this Wonders picture and cut out her hat. I still don't know what the thing is, but I'm gonna call it hat here. And I desaturated a bit, darkened it as usual. It's all the same process over and over again. Then I warp it. Oh, and how can I forget? Her superpower-ish energy balls? I still don't know where are those. Why do I know anything? Come on. Okay, then I set the blend mode to add and give it some glow. For the highlights, I duplicate the layers, make it brighter and change the color. And then I invert the max and paint some back with the previous brush. You may be asking why I did that, because I just want some paintish look on it and with some imperfections, etc, etc. I give some light to the background, like the moon and the lights from the buildings, to give the atmosphere that, Then I give some vignette. I also needed to cast some moonlight on her, so just like last time, I duplicated the layer and turned the exposure way up this time, and then painted some back on it, so it looks pretty natural to me now. And then of course I needed to paint some shadows between her head or face and the helmet, so now this looks very natural right now. So yeah, and a piece of work by me always have some eye glow, so there you go, I added them. I added some fog and color graded in Lightroom, and then so that's it for today's video, and if you like this video, you can smash the like button, and if you want to support me, you can click the subscribe button and ring the bell. So I'll see you next time. Peace out.